Nice deep inhale and exhale. Let's round the shoulders, drawing little circles. Up towards the ears, then down and back. Just nice and gentle. You can do this with your eyes closed or open. And if you're just joining us, feel free to have silence during this hour or practice with light music of your choice or the links from the email, and just relax. Take this hour for yourself to connect with the present moment and to let go of anything in the past or future that has been bothering you. And bring stillness, maybe drawing a couple circles with the neck. We're going to be doing a couple poses to release any tension in the neck and shoulders, as many of us are working from home and at a desk. Maybe getting bigger with your circles one way. And don't forget to bring the breath in. Inhale as you get taller, looking up to the sky. Exhale as your chin comes towards the chest. Let's switch directions, starting smaller. And being sure not to hyperextend the neck. If you feel any pain during this, ease out and just do what feels good. Nice and slow. Awesome work. Come find stillness. Close your eyes. Set your intention for today's practice. Again, Yin is a very slow-moving class, very meditative, which is great for busy minds and awesome for the body and just getting deeper, especially if there is some folds that you find you're not as flexible. Holding them in Yin class can really be beneficial and getting you a little bit more flexible, finding more space to move in your body. So let's get started in our first pose, nice and easy, extended child's pose. So make yourself comfortable and slowly bring your knees about the width of your yoga mat, bringing your hips down towards the heels, and slowly growing long into your extended child's pose, holding this for a couple minutes. So extend the arms nice and long, maybe with a flat back, and as you exhale, sink into the pose. And again, you can always use props in today's class. Restorative class focuses more on going into the poses, but not quite as deep. It's a lot more relaxing, but feel free to use any props. I will be using props today. If you have a cushion or pillow, that's fine. Otherwise, just without any props, find extended child's pose. Connect with your breath and breathe deeply. Scanning the body if you like, from the tips of the fingers, breathing into the wrists, the forearms, the upper arms, top of the head, releasing any tension in the forehead. You can take a light rock side to side with your head if you're feeling any kind of sinus congestion. Relaxing the neck, and the jaw, shoulders melting down into the ground. Feeling your upper back all the way down to your lower back, up to your collarbones. Feeling the expansion in your belly as you breathe in to the belly, hips relaxing down, thighs, feeling the pressure as you inhale and exhale with the belly, maybe making the thighs widen a little bit, the knees, and calves, shins, your ankles and heel, the top of your foot and bottom, and all 10 toes. So during any of our Yin postures, feel free to scan the body like we just did. You can do it slower. Simply focus on your breathing. Inhale, take one cycle of breath, nice and slow, nice and deep. And on your next inhale, start to come up, sitting on your heels, and crossing the legs, coming into easy pose, seated, Sukhasana. And then we're going to take our left foot and we're going to bring our left leg up, and the left sole of the foot is going to go on the outer edge of the right foot, getting ready for our twist. We won't hold this pose quite as long. You want to lengthen through the back all the way up to the crown of the head. Take the left hand, give your left leg a little, your right hand, give your left leg a little squeeze, a little hug, and your left hand can slowly come behind the back and gently inhale, lengthen, and exhale, just twisting a little bit deeper into this twist, this seated twist. Be mindful of your left hip. If it's starting to come off the ground, try and ground both hips evenly. And be really gentle because we're going to hold this for a little bit longer. You don't want to crank into this pose. You never want to push out of your comfort zone too much in our twists. If you can start to gaze over to the left. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. And wherever you are, stay in this position and breathe. The left sole of the foot is rooted down into the earth. Notice if you're holding your breath. Notice where you might be holding tension, maybe in the forehead or shoulders, and just on every exhale, just soften. Or if you're feeling any tingling sensation in the left hand, just try and hold in there just a little bit longer. Take one cycle of deep breathing in through the nose, maybe hold it at the top, and exhale. On your next inhale, slowly come out of the pose, and with your left knee, you're going to stack it over the right knee for shoelace. We're coming into Gomukhasana, so knees over top of each other. This might be a challenge. It might look, I'll face you, it might look like this, but see if you can get your knees close to stacking on top of each other as you can. And perfect is not an option. We don't need perfect. So wherever you are, breathe here. Let's just inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, hands to heart. This is a very challenging pose. We're not going to hold it quite as long, especially if you're sore in the shoulders. So inhale, bringing the right hand up. And exhale, bringing it behind your back. Again, the left knee is on top of the right knee, and the left hand is going to come behind your back as well, and you're going to see if you can make any connection with the fingertips. If you can't, that's fine. You might choose to use a strap, but even if you just have your right palm on your back and the left back side of the hand on your back, anywhere that's fine, as long as you're feeling a little bit of a stretch that's not painful, but you can definitely feel it. Once you find where you're comfortable, and don't overdo it, because we'll be holding this for a minute or two, and just breathe here. One last thing, make sure you're not collapsing, keeping your chin parallel with the ground, that strong, long spine, all the way to the crown of the head. We are halfway there. Notice any tingling sensation. Know that we're not holding this pose forever. Breathe into any sensations you feel. Take one deep cycle of breath. Bring that life back into the whole body. Exhale fully. On your next inhale, slowly with your hands come out. Reach your hands up. Look up to the sky and release them down. Oh, you might feel some sensation definitely in the right hand, some tingling. That's okay. Let's just roll it out. Staying in shoelace pose just like this, we're going to take a forward fold. So coming down, hinging at the hips, slowly coming into a forward fold just like child's pose. You can choose to have a pillow between the knee and the chest. Just sink down into this fold and then round your back, release the tension in the neck. Maybe the chin comes towards the knee. Or maybe you're just hanging here, which is fine too. Keep breathing. Staying in that pose, sinking in. Awesome. Take one deep cycle of breath. On your next inhale, slowly walk the hands up. Nice long back. Bring your hands just back with the fingers facing the front, and just lift the hips just a little bit, looking up to the sky, and exhale. Now we're going to slowly move around to the right so that we're inching with our hands and fingers, doing a full 360 until we've come around all the way. And if that didn't work, that's okay. But now the right knee is over top of the left knee. And before we go into this pose again, we're going to take the twist that we did on the other side. So the right sole of the foot comes to the left thigh. Inhale, breathe deeply. Again, that's the right sole of the foot, firmly grounded. The left leg is where it is. Give yourself a hug with the left hand towards the right knee, and slowly, as you inhale and exhale, twist over to the right side this time. Nice gentle stretch. Make sure both hips are connected with the earth evenly as possible. And just breathe. Make sure the right shoulder isn't hiking up towards the right ear, making it nice and loose. Continue to breathe in this pose, noticing any sounds around your space and just letting them go. Whether you hear bird songs or people cooking in the kitchen, just let go. Let's take one deep cycle of breath together. Inhale deeply through the nose. Hold it at the top. Exhale, maybe sink a little bit deeper. And on the next inhale, coming back to the front of the mat, back into that shoelace pose, or as much as you can. I find just lifting my hips up, I can get a little bit deeper into that right knee over top of the left knee. Once you feel you've got it, lengthen the back. Maybe roll the shoulder blades down and away. Same thing, Gomukhasana on the other side, cow face pose. So we're going to inhale, lift the left hand up to the sky, bring it behind the head, bring the right hand, and the back of the hand is going to meet the back. See if your fingertips can kiss or tickle each other. It most likely will feel a little bit different on this side. You might be able to get a bind, you might not, and that's okay. Just make sure you're not compromising your back by trying to reach further. So keep that length, keep that chin up. Once you think you're in a posture that feels good, again, check in with your hips. Make sure you're not one side or the other, especially your right hip this time coming up. And just sink into this pose. Noticing the sensations. Feel free to check in doing a body scan or pay attention to the breath or your intention or mantra if you have one for today's class. Maybe it's breathing in peace, exhale stress, or inhale love, exhale release. If the sensation is becoming too intense, just come out of the pose a little bit. You will not get in trouble if you release the pose at any point. Yoga is all about that union with your body and mind, and just being able to listen is much more of a success than trying to find the perfect asana. And in this more intense pose, just breathing and being with it is a really important lesson when we're faced with difficulties in our life, and being able to respond to those situations rather than being reactive and fighting them. Tara Brach, one of my favorite meditation teachers, says, let me think about this again, what you resist persists. And it's very true. So just be with this pose. A couple more breaths. Let's take a deep cycle together. Maybe finding an Ujjayi breath, which is just a little restriction in the throat. Slowly come out of this pose. Bring your hands up. If you can, bring your hands down and just take a second to feel the sensations in both hands. Really well done, everyone. Coming into that fold just for a little bit on this side. Extending the hands nice and long, just like child's pose. Feeling that stretch in, let's see, feeling the stretch definitely in the right hip. So try to let that right hip connect with the earth again. You don't have to come all the way. Your extension, your fold might be this. Once you've found a sweet spot, you can release into it and bring your head down further. If at any point you're feeling any intensity in the knees, feel free to take a pose in a forward fold that's not as intensive in the knees, like Sukhasana our Dandasana with the legs extended long. There's no rules here except listening to your body and taking the poses that I suggest and making them work for you in your body. Feeling that deep stretch in the lower back, the psoas muscles. Take a deep inhale together for 4 counts this time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 5, 3, 4, 5. Exhale for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, come back up slowly. Bring your hands behind. Just do a little bit of just see if your hips can lift a little bit. Look up, countering that pose. Before we move on to our next one, you might feel you need a little bit of a windshield wiper, so feel free to do a little bit of movement that feels good, whether that's just bringing the knees alternating right to left, whatever feels good for you. We spent a long time in our hips. And making your way down into a downward facing dog. We won't hold it as long. So in your first down dog, bring your heels and hands, root them down, find stillness here. Continue to breathe. Slowly come down to your knees for extended child's pose. Arms extended long, breathe here deeply. As we close today's practice, you can stay here in extended child's pose or come up to a seat or Shavasana. Pause the video, relax. Thank you for joining me in today's class. Namaste.